One.
Good Tuesday morning. I was distracted by Sarah Spivey dancing to the beat of the opening. Welcome everyone to KSAT News Now. Thanks for spending part of your morning with us. We're streaming, podcasting, and you can share your comments with us on Facebook Live, and we'll respond to those as they come.
Yes, and Alicia, the big thing that a lot of people talking about this morning, it has now been officially 1 year since we started those rolling blackouts during that winter storm. And what I wanted to ask people out there was that, what do you remember about that morning? I mean, were you just getting up, thinking, getting your coffee maybe, or putting things together? What do you remember just about that morning? Anything kind of stand out?
I was thinking about it as I was walking out the door, and I honestly don't remember much.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I think I was going to do something live from my place for the 9 a.m. show, and then we lost power literally like 15 minutes before. So it was like a scramble to just figure out like what we're going to do. Managed to get power back for a little bit, but then as the day went on, we realized, we're not going to get power back for a while. I think we lost it like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And
what day was it? I know it was the 15th, but
it was a Monday morning.
It was a Monday.
Valentine's was Sunday night, and then Monday morning. Yeah.
See, I was last year around that time. I was off Monday, Tuesdays. So I think, I know one of those days I was walking over to my old neighbor John's place.
Okay.
Because he was going to let me borrow a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I had to stay warm because I had one blanket at my apartment. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
But so we'll be, I mean, you laugh about it now, but I was struggling
definitely.
a lot of families in the same situation. But this morning we're going to be talking about that. Let us know just what that was like for you. Want to hear from you. Also this morning we're discussing a tense situation in Honduras where the former president there is holed up in his home with police officers outside.
Yeah, that's a developing situation, kind of a tense thing going on there. And backlash this morning to the decision to allow a Russian skater to compete in the Olympics despite her failing a drug test. A U.S. athlete has shared some pretty strong thoughts on Twitter this morning.
Yeah, so, but first let's get back to weather. Sarah Spivey is joining us. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning,
you guys were talking about like where you were a year ago, what was happening, and I remember waking up to a beautiful winter wonderland. You know, we had 4 inches of snow on the ground, and it was cold.
A lot of people were excited about the snow that night, and then it clearly the situation changed.
Then, as you were mentioning, early in the morning, the rolling blackouts started happening, and it was no longer a winter wonderland. It was a very serious situation, but it is fascinating to think about just how in February temperatures can vary widely. You know, some days we can be in the 80s, some days like last year. Let's take a look at this, what happened. What a difference a year makes. Last year we had a snow depth of 4 inches on the ground, and we got down to 9 degrees with a wind chill of 8 below. Absolutely cold. For the first time in our history here, we had wind chill warnings because of those dangerous wind chills. And then today, I mean, today's beautiful, right? We are going to get up to 72 degrees, completely sunny outside, absolutely gorgeous. So just once again, we're showing this graphic, what a difference a year makes. And on top of that, we weren't done with the snow. By that Thursday, we had even more snowfall, and so we'll continue to track this. But let's switch gears now and talk about the forecast over the next couple of days. This is a look at early tomorrow morning. We're going to see some humidity work its way back in, and so by tomorrow morning, we'll have cloud cover and even some patchy drizzle in some spots. It's not going to amount to anything important. It's just going to be kind of gray and damp out there in the early morning hours. And then most of those clouds will stick around for most of the day, but by the afternoon, we should see some sun, and it's actually going to be warm. We were just talking about how this time last year we were seeing a wind chill of 8 below. Look at these potential highs tomorrow in the afternoon. 80s in southwestern parts of our viewing area like Carrizo Springs and Pleasanton, and even out to the west, temperatures could be in the 80s tomorrow too. So a big difference for tomorrow's forecast. We're forecasting mid to upper 70s around San Antonio tomorrow, and as much as I wish I could say we were going to be getting some rain, The rainfall will be up across parts of North Texas. In fact, there is a severe weather risk across parts of North Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas tomorrow. Notice that San Antonio, nothing. We're pretty much only going to see a small chance for an isolated shower or storm Wednesday night. And then a front is going to move through on Thursday during the day, and will actually allow for a dry and comfortable conditions into the weekend too. So a much quieter forecast out there than what we were dealing with last year. And guys, thanks for having me on and letting me remember what last year was like as a meteorologist. By the way, we've also got a podcast out. Like every day we put out this podcast, KSAT News Now. We've got a podcast in the weather department, whatever the weather, all about last year's storm. So check it out if you can.
Yeah. Cannot believe that it's been a full year. I was asking Justin earlier today, and I was just like, hey man, it's a little bit different this morning than a year ago. Well, and it was kind of like, he was like, yeah, just a little different.
Justin and I did like a Facebook Live out in the courtyard a year ago. And it was still when everything was kind of like joyful and we were enjoying the snow. And then in the middle of our Facebook Live, we started to get the reports of power shutting off, and the tone instantly shifted.
Absolutely. I mean, the families didn't see it coming. They may have had their winter preparedness plan, but how do you prepare for something and how do you go through something when you don't have electricity? So again, still for a year later, still tough for a lot of families to talk about that. So again, today is officially the 1-year anniversary of those, quote, rolling blackouts.
We learned a lot from that whole experience though.
All right, well, making headlines today is the former president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez, and happening this morning, officers have deployed and are surrounding the house of Hernandez. This after the U.S. requested his extradition.
That's right, Alicia. Hernandez was president of Honduras since 2014 and barely left office 3 weeks ago, but for years it's been speculated that he has ties to drug traffickers. Now, Honduran security forces wait for an arrest warrant to be issued and are surrounding the home to prevent Hernandez from escaping. Crazy scene.
Here in the U.S., federal prosecutors previously named Hernandez as co-conspirator in a drug trafficking case and say his way to the top as president of Honduras was actually fueled by drug profits. But Hernandez, of course, denies all these allegations, and he tweeted this audio just before 6 a.m. today from inside his home. Take a listen.
Que estoy presto y listo para colaborar y llegar voluntariamente con su acompañamiento en el momento que el juez natural que designe la Honorable Corte Suprema de Justicia.
So there you heard from the former Honduran president, Juan Orlando Hernandez. He tweeted that video. It's all black. You don't see anything, but he said in part that he will cooperate with authorities once a judge is selected for his case, which he's referring to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has scheduled an urgent meeting today to select a judge to handle that extradition request. And this is just all very interesting because, like we said, he's been president since 2014. He stepped down just 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago is when U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris was actually welcoming the new president there. So a lot going on.
The first female president, right, in the country's history, if I'm not mistaken. But also Hernandez was basically saying that these were drug traffickers that are just trying to get back at him because they want lighter sentences. So that's been one of his claims as well. But obviously, Honduras, Central America seems to be a pretty big, hub and corridor for drug trafficking. So a lot of questions that I guess U.S. officials are trying to figure out here.
Absolutely. And that's also very important because the U.S. has very close ties to Honduras and they work together in different ways. So again, the U.S. has requested for former president of Honduras to be extradited to the U.S. The charges haven't been made known, but again, we know that it does deal with drug trafficking. But in more world news, while tensions are still high over in Ukraine, Russia is saying it's withdrawing some troops from the Ukraine border. The troops completed drills and are set to return to their assigned bases.
Yeah, this just happened overnight, basically. U.S. officials are assessing that claim, but have yet to verify any Russian troop movements. Meanwhile, the U.S. has temporarily shut down its embassy in Kiev, and diplomats have moved hundreds of miles away to western Ukraine.
So this all stems from Russia demanding the U.S. and NATO to bar Ukraine from joining the military alliance and also pull back troops from Eastern European member states while denying it actually has any plans to invade Ukraine.
Yeah, they were basically saying that they were done with their military training exercises. So that's kind of been another claim that Russia's been making. In another signal of rising tension, the United States has announced it will offer up $1 billion in loan guarantees to help Ukraine's economy. And again, the Kremlin saying this morning that they have now just finished their military exercises.
Yeah,
and now they're going to go back. Yeah, and that's why I was kind of like, okay, that sounds a little strange.
So this is, again, a developing story. The U.S. officials over in the Ukraine area, they have not confirmed any movement, so we're still waiting on that. And when we say movement of the Russian troops away from the border at Ukraine. Yeah. But now to the Winter Olympics, kind of still sticking with Russia. There's backlash this morning over a decision to allow a Russian figure skater to compete today, even though she has failed a drug test.
Yes, Alicia, that is right behind me here. 15-year-old figure skater Kamila Valieva is one of the favorites to actually win this event, but a drug test she took in December recently came back positive for heart medication, and it was later determined to be a performance-enhancing drug.
Very fishy here, but Olympic officials, they reviewed the case and said she can compete because she is also, quote, protected person due to her young age, and it was, quote, not her fault that the results were delayed. All right, so the issue with all of this is dealing with an American sprinter.
Yeah, that would be Shikari Richardson, and she called the situation a double standard. So if you guys can remember, Shikari Richardson, that's her right there, she was banned from running at the Tokyo Games over the summer after testing positive for marijuana, and she also sent a series of tweets about the decision, and obviously she's not happy, basically saying that that race played a part in this. And with her, the test came back within a week. She had qualified and it came back within a week, so they made the decision rather quickly when it came to Shikari's case.
She did tweet, Shikari tweeted, BT-dub THC definitely is not a performance enhancer. It's all in the skin.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it's obviously, obviously Shikari Richardson, I think that whole situation, the way it played out, was probably not fair. I mean, obviously she should not have probably, you know, failed that test before the trials. But again, it felt like it was very quick, and they were very quick to condemn her for that, where in this case, you know, this is a delayed test. And now that, now I think the Russian Olympic Committee is saying that her family may have gotten her grandfather's medication by mistake. So
I mean,
a lot of back and
whatever
forth.
it is, rules are rules, and whether the test was delayed or not, she still hasn't. There's still time for her to be pulled from that event, yet she is going to be allowed to compete. So the World Anti-Doping Agency considers marijuana a drug of abuse and not performance-enhancing drug. So this is just, it's totally different situations. You're talking about a heart medication. Was it used? Does she actually have a condition?
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to learn about that?
Right.
And then you have, you know, Shikari's situation, which deals with marijuana. So,
but it feels like she will be able to compete in the Olympics. And have you been watching any of the games so far? Okay, I wrote in here, I thought you were going to give us an in-depth update on the curling action at the games, because I know
RJ likes to write in a lot of things for me, but no, I have not. Have you?
I was talking to Justin about this a little bit earlier. We obviously talk in the morning, but and we were saying how, yeah, he's looking over there. And we were saying how so far just haven't been able to get into anything. But the ice skating events are usually the most watched events. So I'm wondering if that also played a decision in this Russian skater, because she is pretty much the favorite.
Okay, now you're just adding to this conspiracy feud. We don't know, RJ.
We do not know, but yeah, so no curling updates yet from you. Okay, you're waiting. I know you're waiting. It's a deep analysis. Okay, switching gears, staying in the sports world here, you can add another honor this morning to the illustrious career of Spurs assistant head coach Becky Hammon. Hammon will be inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in Tennessee on June 11th.
She is so awesome.
Yeah.
Hammon is being honored for her playing career in the WNBA and at Colorado State. She was a 6-time All-Star and was voted one of the WNBA's 15 greatest players of all time, and that was back in 2011.
So Hammon is finishing her 8th season as an assistant now with the Spurs, and then we talked about this for a few weeks now. She will then move to take over as head coach of the WNBA's Las Vegas Aces.
Hammon spent 16 seasons in the WNBA, 8 of those with the San Antonio Stars, which I totally remember that era.
Yep.
She also won a bronze medal with Russia in the 2008 Olympics.
Yeah, so that was also a little bit controversial at the time because she was playing for Russia. She's obviously an American, born and raised in America, but what she was doing was that she was playing professionally in Russia during the offseason of the WNBA. And because the pay was so low, she basically went overseas, and that's how she got her dual citizenship there. But I remember it was controversial at the time. But again, Becky Hammon, she's a pioneer. She marches to the beat of her own drum.
She's so awesome. I still remember meeting her, and she's just so much grace.
Yeah,
powerful.
definitely. Good stuff there from Becky.
All right. Well, have you rodeoed San Antonio? No, we started way early with the Western Heritage Parade and Cattle Drive. But the rodeo runs through February 27th, and it's at the AT&T Center and Freeman Coliseum Fairgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
And this is all about the students.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Alicia, 19,000 Texas college students will benefit from scholarships this year, and those scholarships award a total of, man, they say over $500,000 here, $540,000, according to Stock Show Rodeo officials.
So, of course, Toby Keith opened it up. You've had Midland, Riley Green, Little Texas, Wade Bowen this weekend, Tanya Tucker, she is a legend. Lady A was there last night, but tonight taking the stage at, well, it's usually later, around 10 p.m.
Yeah.
After the rodeo, of course, Brad Paisley.
Brad Paisley, yes, sir. Big Brad coming back to San Antonio to do the Stock Show and Rodeo. Are you a Brad Paisley fan?
I respect his music, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not the biggest fan.
Okay, yeah. I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, I used to really listen to his music, and
yeah, he's kind of up there, but
he's so talented.
Yeah, definitely.
Gosh, he can do it all.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, not someone I would go see. I know so many people, especially ones I went to college with. There's one couple who literally they go every single year. I couldn't do that.
No,
for sure. No.
Every single year to
Brad Paisley's
Oh
concert.
yeah, no, I know some big Brad
Hasn't
Paisley
been here
fans.
like every year at the rodeo?
Yes, he usually comes every year, every other year. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's always pretty much like a pretty normal performer. So he's going to hit the stage at 7 p.m., that rotating stage they got there at the rodeo. And again, you can find all the information on the Stock Show and Rodeo on KSAT.com. We got a QR code there that you can check out too.
I will go see Ludacris on Thursday. And then you got Ramon Ayala, of course.
Yeah.
El Rey del Acordeon right there. That's on Saturday, I think it's on.
I think so, yes. Tim McGraw is actually on Saturday.
Okay,
so Tim McGraw is going to be at
so-
1 and 7 p.m. Yeah.
Oh, 2 shows.
2 shows. 2-show Tim, that's what they call him. Not really, I'm not
Oh, okay. See, I'm telling y'all, he just writes in or makes up these things.
No, actually, I'm going to go see Tim McGraw there with my wife
cool.
on Saturday. So, yeah,
Very
it should
cool.
be fun.
I'm still
Good time.
debating if to go see Ludacris.
Go! Start throwing those bows.
Ludacris is my era. And then who was the other one? Maybe Tim McGraw. I love Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
But I've never. Anyways,
Yeah.
we hope you get to go to the rodeo. It's so much fun. There's always something to do, specifically for the kiddos if you're looking for something family friendly or a date night or anything like that. But thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to download our podcast. We upload it daily. We will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Have a good one.